friends, a very warm welcome to this video. In this video we are going to work with Instagram clone part 2, and this is the design which we are going to build, right? So in the previous video you have already seen that we have designed this part, the whole design, and it's looking pretty lovely. But before jumping to the second part, I want to just give you a brief advice, which is in our profile page we have used a lot of code, right? And I don't recommend to do all of that within a single page, and for that I would recommend to use the components which I have already shown you in the previous videos how to use that up, especially in the food delivery application and in some more applications also. So it's better to have a component where we can have this thing up, and therefore we can call it from there itself and reduce our code out here in the page. That's why the components thing is being used. Alright, so it's up to you. If you want to do it, you can do it. If you don't want to do it, you can leave it as it is. Alright, I'll just leave it to you guys. Now let's jump quickly to our wish list page and design the same as we have seen in our picture out here. So for that, out here, let's go to the wishlist page out here, and let's work with our ion header. So in the ion header, I'm going to give the title to be activity, and I'm going to center it up, ion text center. All right, now the toolbar, I'll pass the color to be light, and to my ion header I'll pass a class ion no border, because I don't want any border out there. Alright, let's check it out how it looks like. Now you can see the activity showing up. That's great. Now after the ion toolbar, I am going to have an ion row. Now in this ion row, I am going to have the dynamic slide. So let me declare ion slides out here. Ion slide. Yeah. And I'm going to pass few options out here. Let me call it slide ops again. Alright. And we need to have the slide options out here. Slide op. Okay. Of type any, and it will be an object. Yep. Alright. There is an error in the wishlist page, which is slide ops, not slides op. Now out here I'm going to use the same value as we did out here in the profile. So let me copy it from here itself. So slide op, let me copy it up and paste it out here. The next thing that I'm going to do is to paste this function also. Let me just have the same value right now. Alright, now out here there is no stories, there will be slides actually, and we have to declare this slides array also. Okay, why this error is still popping up? Now out here there will be difference in the values which I am passing in the check length, because in our image we can see we have almost like 0.6 extra. Alright, so out here what value am I going to give? So let me pass 3.6, then once again I'm going to pass 3.6, then 4.6, out here 5.6. if the inner width is 900, less than equals to 900 and greater than 701, and at the last I'm going to pass 6.6 to be the highest one. Alright, I don't want more than that. So this is how we are going to define out here, and now it's going to work. It will still not work because we haven't declared or define any data out here in our ion slides. Alright, so let's do that. So now before the slide ops, what I'll do, I will initialize this array to this values. So the first one will be all activity, and there will be no notification. The second one will be likes, and there are 32 notification. Let's see, the third one is the comments. There also we have notification, and the fourth one we don't have any notification, only name mentioned, because this data, JSON data, is created because in the second and third we have this notification. Alright, so wherever you have notification, you can pass this notification property and you can have the same thing out there. Alright, so this is done. Now we have to design our ion slides within that in order to see something out there. Alright, so ion slide. Now within the ion slides, I am going to pass the ng4 let item of slide, and also I'll pass the index in this manner. I'll initialize the index, which is done, and after that within this ion slide I'm going to have an ion column in the array. Alright, and within the ion column what we are going to have? We're going to have an ion button. Now to this ion button, I'll give expand to block. Then the mod will be obviously iOS. I don't want the text decoration to be done. And the color will be dynamic, but let's work with the shape first, which will be round. Alright. And within this ion button, I'm going to have an ion tag within which I am going to pass the name. So item dot name. Alright. Now let's check this out, whether do we get any data out here or not. Now whenever we are clicking on this particular ion slide, then the list will change up. So how that can be implemented out here, because we are getting this thing up and we have to work with the design also, we have to work with the colors also. The activated one will have a different color and the inactive one will have different colors, and we have to show the notification also. So lot many things needs to be done. Let's do it one by one. At first I'll work with the click event. So whenever the one which is getting clicked, accordingly the things will get changed. Alright, so let me call it change tab function, and within that I'm going to pass the index. Alright, let's declare it out here. So out here let me declare the function and let's close it up. So change tab, out here I'm going to pass the index to the active tab. Alright, so how can we do that? So out here I'm first going to declare an active tab, and let me just, yeah, now it's looking good. So active tab will initially be 0 and the name will be active tab. Alright, and then I will also access the add view child property to access my ion slide. So at view child ion slide, I'll call it ion slide, which will be of type ion slide, and let's import it up. Now let's import this view child also. So it is imported now and the error is gone. Now what I'll do out here, I will set this dot active tab to be the index value. Alright, and then this dot ion slide dot slide to that particular index. Alright, so this ion slide function will slide to that particular index and that will get activated. Alright, now we do not have anything to detect whether that is active or not. That is why I am just using this property called active tab, and thereon I'll pass this active index. Alright, now we can play around with this active index as we like. So in our code, let's go to our HTML part. Now out here I'll change this color of ion button using the active tab property. Let's do it. So out here I'll pass the color of active tab. If active tab equals to I, that means that particular index, then the color will be dark, otherwise the color is gonna be white. But white color is not defined, so we need to create one, right? So for creating a new color, let's go to our Ionic framework docs out here. Now in the Ionic framework docs, I'll just scroll down to the theming section, go to the colors tab, and out here if I scroll down, there is an option to add a new color. I'll add white color, and the color hex code will be 6 times F. Alright, this is the color which is generated. I'll simply copy the whole thing up till here. Alright, I'll minimize this up. Let's go to our variable.scss, themes variable.scss, and out here if I scroll down, out here I'll simply replace this closing tag by this code. Alright, and let's have some spacing out here in this manner. Also I'll simply copy this part and paste it out here, change this to white. Now this class is very important, otherwise this will not work. You can define it in the global.scss also. That's a proper way. Actually let's do it out there only instead of out here. That's fine. Alright, now you can see, we can see the changes out here. If I'm clicking on it, then it is changing. Alright, that's great. Now let's work on the ion fab button. So I'll go to the wishlist page again, and what I'm going to do in this ion column, I'm going to have an ion fab button. Within that we will have ion fab button, ion fab button. Within the ion fab button we are going to show the notification. All right, now the ion fab button color will be the danger one, and the positioning of the ion fab button will be vertical top and horizontal center, and it will occur only if item dot notification exists. All right, and also what I'll do, I'll simply copy this up, and in fact to my ion slide also it will occur only if slides dot length is greater than 0. If it is not, then this will not show up. All right, so this is also done, and now you can see the ion fab button is showing up. Now we need to design this up as we like to achieve the design which we are looking for, alright, which is this one, this part. Alright, let's work on that. Now here at first I'll work with the ion header and pass the background to be of light color because I want the ion slides to have the same light background. There you can see it is working, right? And then I'm going to work with the ion slide, ion fab button, ion fab actually. And to that I'll give it a width of 20 pixel and height also to be 20 pixels. Then the ion fab button also to pass the same ion fab. Okay, why am silly mistakes. Let me copy this up and paste it out here like we did earlier in part 1. Now once that is done, to the ion fab button I will also pass the font size because we are using text this time, 0.7 rem. Alright, now you can see the ion fab button is quite small, but we need to align it properly. For that I'll pass some margin out here, minus 11 pixel to the top, then 0 to the right bottom, 0 left to be minus 6 pixels. Oh, what mistake I have made. This margin should be passed to our ion fab because I want to move the whole fab button, right? So that needs to be passed to the ion fab. My mistake, I thought this was ion fab. Now it is centered up nicely and it is looking pretty good. If you want some different color to be passed, then we can pass dash dash background to our ion fab, and I'll pass hashtag dd to a7b. Alright, let me comment up the earlier one. So out here I'm passing the color to be danger. I'll just comment it up or cut this up for the time being. Let's see how the other color looks like. Well, it's almost the same, but I'll keep this color. I think this will look good. Alright, so let me keep this, and then what we are going to do, so we are done with the ion fab. The next thing that we are going to work with the ion button. So for the ion button, I'll pass a height of 2.2 rem or 2.2 em actually, so that this height will get reduced to 2.2 em, which is pretty nice now. And then within that I'm going to work with the ion text and reduce the font size to 0.8 rem. So now you can see, if you compare with this screen, you can see the design is almost the same out here, right? We have achieved this part, and now I just want to show you one more thing, how to apply animation out here when we are shifting from one tab to another. Well, that's a pretty interesting part. Let's do it up. So for that, what I have to do, after the ion button I'm going to use a class called active tab, and when that is active, that means when that is getting clicked at that certain point of time, what animation do I need to do? I'll do it out here. So within this active, when I'm clicking it up, I will have this transitions, alright, for easing in, easing out and all other stuff. And along with that, I will also change the ion text size, font size to be a bit bigger, 1.2 rem. That will make it big. Alright, so what actually this means, I'll show you right now. So now, earlier when we were jumping from one tab to another, we had no animation. But now if I click on it, just focus on it. If you just click on it, still nothing is showing up. Why? Because we haven't passed this class anywhere as of now. Let's do that first, and then I'll show you how that can be done. If we don't do any activity, how that will work nicely, right? So let's do it up. But before doing that, I want to say that this color, I'm not liking this pinkish color. So I'll change this to, again, the danger one. I think the danger color looks pretty good. And let me comment this out here. I'll simply comment it up. If you want, you can use it up. Alright, now out here to the ion button, what am I going to do? In order to pass that class on condition, I will use class dot active tab in this manner. So this active tab class will be passed only if the active tab equals to the index which is passed, or the one which is selected. Only in that it will be passed. Alright, now let's try it out. Just focus on it. If I click on it, you see there is a transition, right? The slide animation which is looking pretty nice. The size of text is getting bigger. When I click on it, nice animation. That's fine. That is working nice. So we have successfully set up our dynamic tabs, and which is looking pretty lovely, and the animation is too good, I would say. So now what am I going to do? I'm going to work with the ion content. So in the ion content, we will have an ion list. Out there we will have lines to none, and I will pass a condition that it will occur only if, it will show up if active tab equals to 0. That means when all activity is selected, only then this tab will show up, because for others I'm not building it up, but it is almost the same. Alright, you just have to filter it up. Out here I'm showing all the activity, so you can do that up once you do this one of those. Alright, and this also you can pass in a component if you like. You can do it out there. Now within that we will have ion list header. Now what exactly we are trying to build is this part new. Alright, and then we are going to work with the ion item. So in the ion header, what I will have an ion label. Within that I will have a strong tag. Alright, and in the strong tag I am going to pass new 64, which is the same string that I'm passing out there. And there you go, you can see that this is showing up pretty nicely. Now we want to make some design effect out here, but let's work on our ion item and then we will do it all together, right? So for ion item I will have out here ion item, which I'm going to loop it up, and ng4 equals to let item of activities, which I'll just declare it in our TypeScript. Let's do it quickly. So activities of type any array, and will be initialized to an empty array. Alright, so now in the ng on it I'm going to initialize that up. This dot activities will be equals to an array of objects, and these are the objects that I'm going to have. Let me show you the whole thing. So out here I'm going to check. So out here the values that I've passed is the ID. Every activity will have an ID which is unique, and then we will have the username, the person who liked your video or commented on your video, that will be shown up, or any other thing you want to pass. The user profile picture. Alright, so I've already had certain pictures in my assets folder in the imgs folder. You can use that up. Alright, and then I'm passing the time, at what time it was done. Alright, 1 minute ago, 5 minutes ago, 1 day ago, or like that. You can just pass the timing and do it in the HTML also by applying some functions. Alright, then what kind of activity it is? It is a follow activity that someone has started following you, or it is a commented activity that someone has commented on a particular post of yours. Alright, so I have chosen only two kind of activity out here, which I'll show you guys how that can be done. Alright, and the users which I have written out here, these are actual users which have liked my video or started following me up, and most of them are my subscribers, or our friends actually, I would say. Alright, so keep giving me love of this kind, and I'll bring up lot more interesting videos for all of you, and we will all learn together. Alright, so with this let's start working with the HTML part now. So in the HTML, what am I going to do? Out here, let's see the design, what exactly we have to build. So out here we have the ion thumbnail, which is similar to the one which we built earlier in our profile, right? And then we will have a follow back button out here at first, then started following you text will be there. All right, then this is the username, and then this is the timing. Let's do it. So in the ion item, I will have an ion thumbnail, which is common in all cases. So in the ion thumbnail, the slot will be start, and I'll pass a class of photo. Now within this we will have an image tag. I'll pass the src, which is dynamic, that will be item dot user profile. Question mark is important, otherwise if you don't have this field then it will give an error. All right, now let's see. Fine, this is showing up. All right, we can see the images out here, but that is not looking nice, so let's work on that to give it a better look. Now for that I'll just go out here, work with my ion content, to which at first I'll pass the background to be light. Alright, now you can see this is getting reflected. Now similarly to my ion list also, I'll pass this background to be light, but this background property is not there, so I have to pass it directly. Alright, now you can see we can see the ion list header to have a background of white, which is working fine. The next thing, I want to have no padding in my ion list, also margin bottom to be 10 VH. Alright, this is working. Now let's work with our ion item, which is very crucial actually. Now to that, first of all, I'll pass width to be 95%, then margin auto, and also margin bottom to be 1.5 V8. Let's check it out. Alright, it is showing up nicely. Now the next thing, I'm going to pass the border radius to be 20 pixels, and the border radius is showing up nicely out here. Now we need to pass the border to our ion thumbnail, which should be in the similar manner. So what I'll do, let me go to the profile page SCSS, and out here I'll simply copy this up and paste it out here. Well, within the ion item we have that. Now the class is photo, so I'll pass it in this manner. Even out here also the class is photo, because we will have another ion thumbnail. That's why I'm doing this stuff. Alright, it is showing up. That's great. Now the minimum height and width, I'll change it to 2 rem. Alright, not 24, it's 2. Yeah, that's nice. So this is showing up nicely. Now let's work on the ion label that we need to show out here. Let's do it quickly. So after the ion thumbnail, we will work with the ion label, where I'll pass item.username, and also I'll have a p tag. You can see the username, where I'll pass class equals to ion text wrap, because I want it to get every data that I'm writing, not to wrap up anything, not to leave anything. Alright, within that p tag I'm going to have ion text. Within the ion text I'm going to write started following hue. Alright, and to this ion text I'm going to pass a color of medium, and also a condition that it will appear only if the activity is equals to follow. That's what I told you earlier also. Alright, there you go. You can see this is coming up, and then we are going to copy this ion text one more time and paste it again. Now in this, what we are going to have this time, if there is a comment, then this will show up, and the text which we are going to show out here is a span actually, and within that I'll write commented, and at the end we will have the item.comment. Alright, so all the comments that we are getting, we will pass it out here. So now you can see the comments are coming up, and wherever there is follow, it is showing up. So it is working nicely up till now. Then the next thing that we are going to show is the time. So ion tag, and within that we will show the time, item.time. So well, it should be one more braces out here. Now it's fine. And out here I'm going to pass a class called time, which we will be working with. Alright, now after that p tag, what we are going to have, well, if the activity is a follow, then we need to show ion button. It will occur with this condition only. Alright, now the mode of it will be iOS, and the slot will be and the color will be primary. Alright, and the text which it will read is follow back. Now this button should be outside of ion label, not within the ion label, otherwise this will not work nicely. And let's have some gapping, because it's very hard to detect which part I'm writing. Now it is on the extreme right side, right, and it is showing only on the ones where people are following me up. Alright, the next thing, if there is a comment, then what we need to do, we need to show up an ion thumbnail. Again, within the ion thumbnail I am going to pass the image which is being passed, and the source will be item.post. So the post image will be shown out here, and this will occur only if there is the activity is a comment, because you always comment on something on your post, right? And the slot of it will be and. Also I'll pass a class to it called post, which will work with. Fine. Alright, this is showing up. Now let's design it a bit, and to achieve the design which we actually need. So let's go to our SCSS again and work with it. Now after the ion thumbnail, I'm going to work with the ion label. Within this, I'm going to pass font weight to be bold and font size to be 0.9 rem. Let's check it out. Alright, this is looking nice. Now let's work with the p tag, where I'm going to work with the ion text that is within the p tag. Pass a font size out there to be 0.75 rem. Alright, this is showing up. And then I'm going to work with this span. Pass a color to it of gray. Alright, there you go. Now this span 1 minute is gray, and the text out here is grayish, right, in this span, the commented one. Alright, looking little darker out here. Now let's work with the class time, make it little lighter. So I'll pass a color to be light gray. This is showing up nicely. The 1 minute, 5 minutes, it's quite good. Now let's work with our iron button. So iron button, let me give it a height of 3 em, border radius dash dash, because it already has the property of 15 pixels, and then the margin left to be 20 pixels. Otherwise it will have a default margin which is quite big. I don't want that. Alright, now this is having a border radius and height is also fine, and it's looking pretty lovely out here, isn't it? That's great actually. And let's compare it with our design. As of now, almost the same, right? This part's great. So other parts are left out. Let's work on that also. Alright, so what do we need to work with next? Now as you can see, this buttons is going somewhere else when the text is a bit bigger, right? So what do we need to do out there? Even this one is going down, not staying at a position, and our image out here also is not staying at a certain position. So for that, what I'll do in this SCSS only, to our iron thumbnail of class photo, I will pass align self flag start. Now no matter how big our text is, it will always occur at the start, as you can see out here, right? That's great. Now in the other places, where all do we need to do? We need to work with the iron button. So in the iron button, if I pass it on all the position, that's not a good deal. So let's pass it on our iron item for doing this in all the places, for the iron button especially. And how do we do that? In the iron item, I'm going to pass dash dash inner padding and to be 5 pixels. Well, actually this thing is done, so the button is fine. I just want to play with around with the image now. Alright, because the buttons has to be on the center, which then only it looks good. Alright, now for the images, the padding to the end is a bit more. Let me reduce that. Now out here to the iron item, I'm going to pass inner padding and to be 5 pixel only. Now I hope it will reduce a bit. Yes, little bit it is reduced, and it's okay. That's fine in all the places. So now the text is coming nicely and we are good to go. So now the next thing that we need to work with this is this post one. So let's work on that now. So for the post also, let me just copy the photo one, and after all this out here, I'm going to paste it out, change this to post. Well, this is fine. The position, there will be no position actually. I'm not using the same thing. The border out here, minimum width, let's give it 4, height to be 4, and border radius is fine. No padding is needed out here. The image is fine, 100%, and all good. All right, so this is working. The border radius is also working, looking lovely, similar to the image that we have out here, right? This one, because the background is white or transparent, that is why I am able to see this kind of image, which is looking awesome, I would say. So we have achieved this part successfully. Now the only thing that differs is this 2 buttons, which is available on the comment one for the like and other one. So let's do that. Now let's go to our HTML, and in our HTML, what we are going to do, we are going to have an iron row after my iron label, or within my iron label actually. I will have an iron row that will occur only if it is a comment. Fine. And within that, I'm going to have iron icon, whose color will be medium, class will be iron margin start, and the name will be chat bubble ellipsis outline. Now there you go, you can see this icon showing up, right? Now what I'll do, I'll simply copy it one more time and paste it above it. Change this icon to the heart one, heart outline. All right, okay, I don't want any margin start out here. Let me remove it. And now I'll also pass some click event on the like button. If you click on the like button, it should toggle up the color and other stuff. All right, so for that, what am I going to do? Let me pass some dynamic thing out here. If item dot like, well, I'm just passing a property. If it is available, then I'm going to pass something out here, otherwise it will be heart outline. And if it is selected, then it is heart. All right, and for the color, I'll change this to medium only if item dot like does not exist, and if it exists, then I'm simply going to have the primary color, which is the blue one. Okay, we have done the thing. Now this will work only when we click on it. So let's pass the click event, but before that, let's align it up properly. So now the click event turn has come. In the click event, I'm going to call a function like comment. I'll pass item out here. So in my wishlist type script, I'll scroll down and out here I'm going to use this function like comment. I'll create it, and what I'll do, I'll access the item and change this. If it is like, I'll change it to dislike. If it is dislike, then I will change it to like. So I'll toggle it up. Let me try it out. I'll click on it and you can see this is getting changed. But that is, in Hindi we say fika. So that is what is happening out here. I don't like it. I just want some animation to be done. It should look interesting, right? If when you're doing this stuff. So let's work on that now. So let's design it up a bit. And for that, I'll go to the SCSS. Now out here within the ion label, we have the ion row. So I'll access it out here, ion row. And within that, I will just pass margin top to be 5 pixel and ion icon font size to be 1.3 rem. Little bigger than what we have right now. There you go. You can see this is looking pretty lovely, right? And now it's time to give some animation out here. So for the animation, we will do something similar to the one which we did out here. All right. And for doing that, what I'll do out here in the ion row, I'll just create a class called like. And when this is active, that means when this is just clicked, at that point of time, I'll increase the font size out here also and give it a transition all 0.3 second ease. So let's check it out how it looks like. But in order to see the changes, we have to pass the class into our ion icon. So for that, I'll pass the class dot like, and this will be a conditional one if item dot like exists. All right, that means whenever we are changing from an empty one to a like one, then only this animation will show up, not on the other key. Let's check it out. So now if I click on it, now you can see the animation is showing up, but when I'm deselecting it, it is just the simple one, right? That's great. In fact, I'm liking it. Something or the other is happening. That's great. Yeah, that's great. I'm loving it. You can do the same out here also. I can pass it everywhere actually, wherever needed. All right, so with this we have successfully implemented our Instagram part 2. Awesome, I would say. So we have successfully completed both the parts of Instagram clone. I hope you like the video, and if you want a part 3 on that, on part 3 what I'll do, if we get 100 likes on this video, then I'm going to build a part 3 where we will show up the dark mode out here. You can toggle between the dark mode and light mode into your Instagram clone application. So if you find this video helpful, let me know by leaving a comment, and if you want any other design or some additional in this design which if I agree with you, then definitely we are going to work on that. So for that also you need to comment below. All right, hit the like button. The target is at least 100 likes, all right, for part 3. So friends, I am sure you are sharing my videos, you are liking my videos, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do that. Become a part of our community. We will be working with many things, all right, in future. So in order to be motivated all the time, your comments, your likes and your subscription will help me to do that. Please friends, support our community to reach a milestone. All right, so with this I'll wrap up this video here. Thank you very much.